as I went along the path, and I was healing different things in myself, I began to recognize these parts of my personality and parts of myself from childhood me. Before life experiences got in the way, before my ways of coping were to conform, was to try and make myself different, was to try and make myself blend in, fit in, so that I wouldn't stand out and get picked on or bullied or things like that. All of those different things that I was trying to do to survive the situation and adapt were changing me in a way. They were making me into somebody that wasn't really me. And so it was really easy to get pulled down a track that wasn't true to me. So at the small levels of this, it's whatever, smoking and drinking when you're 14 and 15, and all that kind of madness and stuff. But at the, big levels of this, we can go way off track. We can get really lost from ourselves. And some of the feelings that we feel when we get lost like that can be feelings like guilt or shame or fear or upset. Because on that very deep soul level, we have a knowing that this isn't right for us. But it's so hard to access that when it's buried under a whole heap of stuff and a whole heap of pain. It's really hard to access that soul part that can also guide us out of it. So in early stages when we start meditating, it's not like anybody can hand you a map and say, here's where you're going, and here's how this is going to turn out. Because that's not how it works. The essence of that connection is actually just about being present. It's about finding out. The essence of meditation is finding out who we are. It's allowing enough space that we get to know that. We get to know what feels natural to us, or what feels intuitive for us, what feels right for us. So many people that I'll speak to after a few months of doing meditation, things like that, no longer want to drink as much alcohol or eat as much meat or different things like that. And yet our society really strongly normalizes loads of meat consumption, alcohol consumption, all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. So for me it feels really important that we find out enough about who we are that we can be true to that. But that requires a little bit of effort. See, in our world we're used to the outer journey. We're really familiar with what I show the outside world and what's acceptable in that. What gets me places by how I am in the outside world. If I piss people off or I let people down, that doesn't work so well. We recognize that there's payback in that. When I'm kind to people or I'm thoughtful or I'm loving, there's payback for that too. It's really, really clear. Yeah? Meditation is the inner part of that journey. It's where we get to know, okay, what's my inner action that works for me? What's my inner way of paying attention that gives benefit for me? My inner way of finding out what's going on for me. It's not like we reach a certain level and we call that, oh, I'm a meditator. Meditation is instant that we are still enough to be able to connect in that way. So it's not a destination. We can chuck that idea out, yeah? That unless I'm in that, inner peace, Zen kind of place, then I'm not practicing meditation. Meditation is that really active and real relationship with myself, where I allow to fall away any expectations of perfection of myself. I allow to fall away anything of a judgment of what should be there or what shouldn't be there. And I just let myself find out. So some of what we find out is our beauty and our greatness and our loveliness. That's definitely there. But sometimes we find out our ugliness. We find out our shadow as well. Maybe where we were selfish, where we were hurtful, where we were assholes. That's all there too. If we can create that mindset first of all, or that intention, that we will look inside and meet ourselves without those kind of judgments. That's meditation. when we let ourselves find out, okay, what's going on? What's needing attention from me? Because so much of the time we can look inside and go, oh God, what's wrong? What do I not want to be there? You know, we'll use words like, I want to get rid of this anger, I want to get rid of this sadness, as if it shouldn't be there. As if in some way it's not appropriate or not valid, we're judging it. When we start to make space, when we let go of our judgments, our shoulds and our shouldn'ts and all of those kind of things, different negative emotions, we start making space where this kind of transformation just sort of happens. Things are allowed move in the way that they need to move and ought to move without too much conscious effort on our part. It's awareness becomes enough at a certain point. But our starting point can be, I don't know what the hell is going on inside. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how my life got to this point. I don't know how this happened. And we can feel very lost and very confused and very kind of all over the place. We can have an idea that something like this exists. We might have read about it, or we might have heard somebody describe about it, and we're like, oh, how does she do this? There is a commitment that's required to that. So whether you commit, let's say, to this meditation class, or that other yoga class, or whatever it is, whatever the path is, Artist Way, any of these are really, really good. Yeah? But the key component is there's a level of commitment of, I want to find out. I want to get to know myself. I want to explore myself. I want to discover the potential of me. Because we'll know a whole heap about our limitations. Or we'll know something of our limitations. But exploring ourselves in the way of meditation allows us to get to know all of it.